In 2017 at Yellowstone, this Reddit user's brother took a photo while photographing wildlife. Later, when their father looked at the images on his computer, he noticed something strange. A mysterious face seemed to be looking through the car's windshield in the background. Confused by this discovery, the user reached out to others for logical explanations, but to this day, no one has been able to clarify the mystery. While riding with his son, a father spots something unusual in the distance. From the footage, it looks like a tall, dark, humanoid figure moving from right to left. This video was taken in 2009, and the low camera quality makes it difficult to identify the figure clearly. The forest where they are is known for strange sightings of cryptids, leading some to believe this could be Bigfoot. Others think it's just a person crossing the river. The unclear footage leaves us wondering what the family really witnessed that day. A young woman and her best friend were camping in the forest to celebrate a birthday. As they enjoyed the festivities, she accidentally captured this. A face suddenly appeared behind her best friend. The woman's genuine reaction makes it hard to believe this was staged. But what exactly did they capture that night? The camper was enjoying a quiet night after setting up his fire. He decided to take a walk around the campsite. As he strolled, he felt a strange presence behind him. When he turned around, he saw this.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yo, I'm a cigarette, man. Like, hella hard right now. You got one?
Nah, bro, I don't smoke.
A shirtless man coming toward him. The man approached and asked the camper for a cigarette, but he didn't have anything to offer. After a brief moment of tension, the man simply turned and vanished into the darkness. This sudden encounter made the camper feel scared and uneasy.
He doesn't have a shirt on. Oh my god. Guys, I'm in the middle of the woods.
Stuart James shared some terrifying footage from a recent investigation at Oxford Castle. Take a look.
Recently I carried out a paranormal investigation at Oxford Castle. We were let in overnight and the only people there. This was live footage which I didn't notice at the time, but if you look closely, there appears to be a face at the window.
But then he spotted something even more horrifying.
As I rounded the corner and walked down one of the dark halls, I saw a figure leaning against the wall. Again, it wasn't there while I was doing the live feed.
These unsettling visuals were enough reason for Stuart and his team to quickly abandon their investigation. Two backpackers were hiking the High Sierra Trail at Sequoia National Park in California when suddenly this happened. They encountered a mountain lion up close. The mountain lion stands its ground while the hikers tried to figure out what to do next. After a tense moment, the hikers slowly backed away. While hiking, this Reddit user discovered something unusual deep in the woods and felt a strange energy surrounding it. Even more bizarre, when he returned the next day, the structure had completely vanished. Many commenters speculate it could have been part of some sort of ritual, but no one knows for sure. This Reddit user was visiting an abandoned church in Dublin, Ireland, when her boyfriend decided to take a photo of her. She stepped aside, unaware that a mysterious figure would appear right beside her. At first, she thought the figure was just another member of their group, but her boyfriend swore there was no one behind her when he took the picture. Moreover, no one in the group matched the man's appearance in the photo. The figure looks as if he's dressed like a priest, which ties into local legends about a Catholic priest buried beneath the church. The user mentions this unexpected sighting left her amazed. This TikTok shows a man walking in the woods, where he claims that every time he takes a walk in the woods, he sees a woman at a distance, quietly watching him. This time, he was able to capture the sighting on camera. When the footage is zoomed in, the figure appears to resemble a human wearing a dress. The man suggests that this woman might be a creepy stalker who is following him. Ella was swimming in a river in the Philippines when she accidentally filmed something strange. While she was underwater, you can see a pair of legs behind her, but just a moment later, when the camera goes back underwater, the legs vanish. Ella insists she was alone in the water and can't explain the mysterious legs. Some viewers suggested that Ella should research the area because she might have drowned there, and the legs could be a ghostly presence. What else could this be? While camping in New Jersey's Double Trouble State Park, Hina and her sister spotted something truly unsettling. A woman in white clothing standing in the water of a lake, acting weirdly. The girls recorded the moment but couldn't figure out what the woman was doing. Feeling uneasy, Hina and her sister chose to leave the woman alone. And you should choose to subscribe to my channel. Reddit user CakeTheLegend69 shared this eerie picture along with this description. So this happened a few years ago, but I was with some friends investigating an area of the woods to hunt. We were taking pictures of different locations, and well, I captured this. He explains that everyone in his group was behind him looking at other areas, so he's sure it was none of them. They later found out that the area was an old abandoned logging town that suddenly disappeared almost overnight. After realizing he had possibly caught a ghost in his photo, they went back and found 13 old graves and headstones. He ends his post with, "But my real question is, what do you see?" While live streaming in the woods, a TikToker noticed something strange in the distance.
We find out it's a freaking Sasquatch looking at us. Yo, someone might take screenshots in case this thing does take over.
Feeling uneasy, he asked his viewers to take screenshots in case they captured something unusual. As he cautiously moved closer, he discovered something that made it seem like the creature had set a trap for him.
Whoa, is that a trap? Oh my God! What if that's a trap? Because look, he was sitting right there.
The TikToker was convinced this wasn't just any animal, but possibly an unknown creature lurking in the shadows. This hiker was camping in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Suddenly, he was jolted awake and saw this. A wild bison just a few feet away from his tent. This unexpected encounter with such a magnificent animal was both thrilling and frightening. A camper from India decided to leave the forest as heavy rain began to fall. However, While navigating a forest road late at night, things took a terrifying turn. A figure can be seen standing by the side of the road. This figure reaches out with an unnaturally long arm, as if trying to signal for a ride. Upon closer inspection, the figure looks humanoid, but has an eerie appearance. Sensing that something is not right, the driver decides to keep going without stopping, and the video ends there. A man was driving through a wooded area at 3:30 a.m. when he spotted this.
Oh my goodness. That is, oh my gosh.
Jump in the water. Are you serious?
A pale figure on a swing, looking almost ghostly. Why was this person there, swinging so late at night? Could it have been a ghost? This picture was reportedly taken in Brazil during a night shift in a eucalyptus forest. The uploader's brother and his co-worker were there, cutting and stacking timber. Just 2 weeks earlier, the co-worker had an unsettling experience that led him to take some photographs while working nearby. When he zoomed in on the images, he saw something unsettling. A woman in white. Locals have long claimed that the farm is haunted, but this was the first paranormal encounter they ever captured on footage. Reddit user Elizabeth Greengirl88 and her husband live in a house deep in the forest. One night, while her husband was taking out the trash, their home security camera captured something strange. If you look closely, you can see a misty shape hovering near him. The user mentioned that an elderly man lived in their house before them and died there. Also, a woman was murdered nearby before they moved in. Elizabeth also reported feeling strange emotions as if she's being watched. After watching, the husband was so frightened that he refused to take out the trash at night again. Athlete Chat is finishing up a camping trip with his family in Rexburg, Idaho. While they were packing up, they spotted a large bear coming toward their motorhome.
Come on. Oh, yeah. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Hey, buddy. Whoa. You are a beaut. You are a beaut. Hey.
No, he's fighting the thing down.
Hey. No.
He's taking down your mirror.
No. You want to head forward a little bit, Dad?
No.
She's
He'll
breaking
rip
the
it
mirror.
off.
Hey, get out.
Okay, go. She's messing up the mirror.
It's okay.
The bear seemed unafraid and stood up on its hind legs to peek inside the camper. Thankfully, Athlete Chat and his family were able to escape without injury. All they were left with were some teeth marks on their side view mirror. Reddit user Core2Score went hiking after heavy snowfall. After hiking for about 2 to 2.5 hours through a thick layer of snow, they noticed someone behind them. And this is what he said about it. I am 100% sure it wasn't someone taking a break, because there were no tracks ahead of me, and I should have noticed if I passed them by. The person seemed to keep their distance. I stopped after a while to see if they would catch up to me, and it seemed they picked up pace for a few minutes but then stopped. When I resumed walking, so did they. I decided to keep hiking as if nothing was out of the ordinary, but after about an hour, they disappeared. The way the person reacted to his movement and how he was walking near the edge of the trail under the trees made him feel uneasy. He mentioned that they weren't always behind him, and they didn't seem fast enough to have started the hike long after him and then caught up to him. The strange appearance left him wondering who they were and why they were there. The creators of DB Interactive Media were staying near the Mongolian Rim when they spotted strange lights flickering in the forest.
Oh, whoa. Did you see that big light? That wasn't a oh, wow. They're started again. Whoa. And that's the same spot in the trees. Okay, that's a different area than it was before. I mean, it moves.
With no other campers nearby, the mysterious lights continue to appear.
But you're going to want... Whoa! Now, did you see what I'm talking about? That was good. That was a good shot. That, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm just here. Now, that kind of looked like lightning on this camera, but it's not.
As the batteries in his flashlight began to fade, he noted they needed to be replaced and he would continue recording if he heard any more sounds. Unfortunately, the video abruptly ends there, leaving this unsettling encounter a complete mystery. While hiking, a man and his dog encountered a frightening situation when suddenly a strange creature emerged from the trees and began to chase them. The man couldn't clearly see what it was, but it appeared to be bipedal, standing on two legs. In a panic, the man released the dog and climbed a tree for safety, leaving the dog on the ground. The video ends without revealing what happened next, but it suggests the man managed to escape. Let's hope his dog did too. Christina Lynn, a wildlife biologist and popular environmental activist on YouTube, recently went hiking. After a long, tiring 12-hour trek on the John Moore Trail, Christina and her friend set up their tents next to each other. But around 5 a.m., this happens.
And so I hear the footsteps get closer, closer, closer to my tent. And then they stop at the outside of my tent, right at the door.
Gathering her courage, she unzipped her tent and saw a stranger staring at her.
And I decide to unzip my tent. Like, I'm just gonna face whatever this is head on. So I unzip my tent. There is pretty much my worst fears realized. There is a man I do not know standing outside of my tent, staring at me. In the meantime, my friend is sitting in her tent and she hears the tent unzip from me unzipping it, and she thinks that he's unzipping my tent trying to get in. So I'm like, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm Jack." And I say, "Okay, like, why are you here?" Silent. He doesn't say anything. So Jack kind of stares at me and he just gives me like the creepiest look. I say like, "Well, what are you doing? Like, what? Like, we're sleeping here, you know?" Trying to act aggressive still, even though I'm like terrified in the meantime, and I'm like holding my tent stakes, like ready to stab him. You know, he kind of just seemed like he was like in a daze. Like he just said, "Oh, I thought this was my friend's tent."
When she asked who he was, he said he thought it was his friend's tent, but his answer felt suspicious. Christina zipped the tent back up, hoping he would leave, and was relieved when the footsteps faded. However, the next morning, she was shocked to find the man, Jack, sleeping on the ground behind their tents.
So then I wake up the next morning and I talk to my friend and I'm like, "Oh my god," I unzip her tent. I'm like, "Oh my god, like what happened last night? Like that was so scary." We swapped stories and we thought we were safe. We look behind our tent and Jack is sleeping on the ground behind our tent.
When she confronted him, he laughed creepily, put on his backpack, and walked into the woods.
He didn't even set up his tent. He's just sleeping on the ground behind our tent. So we kind of go up to him thinking like maybe it was all some big misunderstanding this whole time. And we say like, what are you doing? Were you looking for your friends? He goes, "Ha ha ha. Yeah, looking for my friends." Gets his backpack on and keeps walking down the trail.
Feeling vulnerable, Christina decided to take a hike to a nearby town and buy a large knife, promising herself she would be ready for anything while camping the next time. In a peaceful forest, a photographer recorded himself while taking pictures, when suddenly he got disturbed by something unexpected. The photographer seemed to be intrigued by the bear and calmly observed. That's until the bear came closer and the photographer sprayed bear spray directly at the bear's face. Surprised by the spray, the bear then retreats into the bushes. These hikers were enjoying their day when this happened. They found themselves trapped in a sudden flash flood. Fortunately, they managed to stay safe. Someone was walking through the forest when they discovered something peculiar. At first glance, they thought it was a deer skeleton, but as they looked closer, they realized it was something entirely different. A human-like figure curled in a fetal position. Its neck was unnaturally long, its head oddly shaped, and its limbs resembled nothing we were familiar with. This doesn't look like any animal we know, does it? This Reddit user shared a strange clip recorded by a park keeper in Tikal, Guatemala. Take a look. The park keeper mentioned that he had never heard anything like it in his many years of work, which suggests this can't just be any common animal. So, what is it? A group of friends were out exploring at night when they stumbled upon a terrifying sight. A figure in white jumps from an embankment into a bush below, a leap that seems too far for a human. Soon after, another figure drops down. Unfortunately, the clip is short and lacks context, so it's hard to know what's really happening. But the uploader claims these figures were actual witches. A man was walking over a bridge when he noticed something unusual below. He thought he saw a person in distress. Concerned for their safety, he decided to check it out. As he got closer, however, the figure vanished. Shocked, the man quickly left the area. Unfortunately, it is hard to determine what exactly he had seen. Was it an animal or something more sinister? In a forest, a woman recorded some terrifying footage. I don't know where or when this video was taken, but the sounds are clear. Take a listen. A man screaming for help can be heard. The woman seems confused, almost like she recognizes the voice. Some people think she could be encountering a skinwalker, which might be using familiar noises to attract her. And as the camera moves, she recorded a face with eyes. What could be going on here? Reddit user Gypsy Road HGHWY was riding their horse along a quiet forest trail when something unusual grabbed the rider's attention. In the distance between the trees, the rider caught this on camera. A strange figure can be seen hiding behind the trees. The rider's horse obviously sensed something was off. On March 23, 2024, Reddit user LongJumpingUsual1587 and a friend decided to explore an abandoned train station in Az, Belgium, while camping nearby.
Daar staat dus een verlaten trein. We zijn nu bij een verlaten treingebouw. En daarachter, je kan het niet zien op de camera, maar daar staat ook een raar gebouw. Maar er komt kankerenge geluid vandaan.
Wachten tot ze weer iets afspelen, nu hoor je niks.
Nou, ik denk niet dat je het hoort op de camera, maar je hoort echt hele duistere...
Oh, hier hoor je het weer.
En dan hoor je opeens kerkklokken en zo. Wat de fuck is hier gaande? Nou, nu is het weer stil. Toevallig net als ik mijn camera pak. En eigenlijk willen we dus die trein in. Maar er staan dus ook camera's en zo. We'll keep you up to date.
While they were there, they heard strange noises that at first sounded like music from a distant concert. However, after climbing over a fence, they realized the sounds were coming from a dark warehouse near the trains. At around 10 p.m., they noticed a group of people moving inside one of the trains and heading towards the warehouse with flashlights. Watching from a safe distance, they assumed they hadn't been seen. As they got nearer, the sounds grew louder, featuring thuds and eerie tones.
What the fuck?
They recorded the noises but quickly backed off when the group returned with flashlights. Later, they went back to the same spot, but the sounds had stopped, and the faint light under the warehouse door had disappeared. They searched the area, but found nothing out of the ordinary.
Oké, we staan dus nu te twijfelen of we wel of niet moeten gaan. We zijn hier nu ongeveer 20 minuten. Dat geluid is gestopt zodra we gespot waren door 3 mannen. We staan hier nu 5 minuten en we hoorden net weer stenen. Alsof er iemand over de stenen loopt. We willen heel graag, maar we durven allebei toch niet zo heel erg. We kunnen gewoon, Jordi, we kunnen gewoon lopen en als we iets zien of horen, gewoon gelijk rennen.
Kom eerst even die toren checken.
Nee, dat...
Ik weet dat er daar niemand is, man.
Ja, dat durf ik niet.
Nou, kom. Dat durf ik dan juist wel. Ik denk niet dat het
Oké.
zijn. Nee.
Oh ja, rechts in de gaten, ja? Links bedoel ik. Hé?
Nee.
Ja, hier is niemand.
Man, die deur is naar dicht.
Oké, we zien dus ook dat de deur nu gesloten is van de loods. Hij stond net open, nu is alles dicht. Ja, het enge is dus, zij hebben toegang tot de treinen. En wie weet zitten ze gewoon nog in die trein op ons te wachten. Dat kan natuurlijk. Zullen we iets dichterbij? Ja, ik durf het niet. Ook gewoon puur om het feit dat we net beslopen werden vanaf daar. Wij stonden hier zo, bij deze trein. Toen hoorden we voetstappen aan die kant. En toen kwamen ze met z'n drieën achter die trein daar vandaan. Nou, wij zijn toen gelijk teruggerend. En toen begon... Ja, boeien.
When they asked 2 nearby women about the strange sounds, the women claimed not to know anything. This hiker starts an exciting search for hidden treasures using a metal detector. He uncovered amazing finds like ancient coins, strange keys, and even pieces of dynamite. But then he stumbled upon something unexpected. An ancient helmet with a knife embedded in its side. Could these discoveries be genuine artifacts, or did he plant this himself? And now, get ready for these next terrifying encounters.